Hello, my name is Laith and I'm 46 years old and I'm going to tell you why getting older is awesome. Maybe, I think. We're all getting older, so let's figure out why getting older is kind of awesome. Sometimes. Yes, there are downsides to getting older, and if you want to know those, go watch some other guy's video and probably get depressed. This video is all about being positive. Okay, I'm not going to mention downsides such as declining health, decreased energy, physical pain, bad sleep, decreased interest in activities you used to love, that dreaded walk when you first wake up and all the pain that you have to go through. I'm not going to talk about that. Nope. I'm not going to talk about that, and I'm not going to talk about those things. Also, the good things about getting older, they're not going to be the same for everyone. These are my experiences and my experiences alone. The same thing. Believe it or not, I've also lived a life kind of a weird one because I've gone full circle with regards to my fitness journey. Yes, 46 is not old per se. 40 is the new 20, life begins at 40, and so on and so forth. Again, I'm just speaking from experience. I am getting older, as we are all. Unless you're not, and you found a secret to not getting older, I'd love to hear what that is. First thing that I think is awesome about getting older is that you stop giving a fuck in your old age. Because you figured out who you are as a person, or you figured out that most other people only give a fuck about themselves and nothing else. Or maybe because of the ever encroaching specter of death, you stop giving a shit. I don't know which one it is, but I do know I just give less of a shit as I get older. Simple things as going to the supermarket in my pajamas or going to the gym in my slippers, because I did forget my shoes, but that's a different story. I'll go out and eat at a restaurant by myself, and sometimes I'll even order the dessert for two because I don't care what people are thinking around me. The reality is I don't mind driving an old car that has dents or rust in it because I think that it's more important to get to my destination than the way it looks. See, I guess I've never really cared about my car per se, even less now as I get older. See, if somebody cuts me off, I don't react, or maybe I react a little less than I did before, but I see the bigger picture of things that there's no point in doing that. Now, that leads me to the next part, and it's about the experience. And the more you go through life, the more experiences you go through, and it teaches you to really not give a shit or know when to give a shit about certain things. And there's no better teacher than experience. I'm not even sure that's true, but I can think of a lot of great teachers and a lot of people with experience who are just really dumb. But experience is a pretty good teacher. And a lot of other things on this video are a result of experience, such as making less mistakes, fewer and fewer mistakes over time. I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, and because of that, I have learned to avoid some of them, not all of them, but some of them. I respect sunscreen a lot more than I did before, and I respect not going in the sun for long periods of time when I don't need. The downside is that I'm denying beachgoers my incredible physique. Nothing is perfect except for my physique. I always remember now to keep my earphones handy, especially if I'm going to be doing something that requires a long waiting time, which brings us to, more tricks that you can use. For instance, save a ton of time on my content when I batch everything together, like editing or shooting, rather than do each video on its own. I also wear my shoes looser so that I can slip them on and off when I need to without having to tie the shoelaces. But a lot of people do this, and I maybe feel that I'm late to the party when it comes to that. I also save time on beard trimming by not trimming it anymore. And you can see by how it looks that I leave it for months and months. But that also includes my hair, and I found a trick that I can sit there and change the way it looks, and it seems like I've gotten a haircut, just like this, and it looks like I got a haircut. So jealousy. So for me, jealousy, it's kind of gone away to a certain extent. And that's for two reasons. I know myself better and what makes me happy, and two, I'm more aware of the downside of everything that I do. Like if I see someone with a fancy car, I'm like, that looks expensive, and then I have to pay for insurance and the maintenance of it, and anything that goes wrong with it is going to be super expensive. So I don't feel any jealousy towards that person anymore because I know the headaches outweigh the satisfaction they get from that. Or if I see someone excelling in their career, doing way better in the same career as I am, I think, that sometimes looks stressful to maintain all the time, and although the fame seems nice, but fame has a lot of pretty dark downsides as well. Not all the jealousy is gone, of course, let's be realistic with each other, because if I see someone with ice cream, I have to have the ice cream from them. Boredom. And if you have kids, that word is always there. But now, getting older, I'm very rarely bored. And this could have something to do with having all the information in the world in my pocket. There's a finite amount of things that you can do, especially on your phone. But as I get older, I find doing nothing is very desirable. So this entire video, I've been blabbing on and on and on about stuff. And if you observe me being quiet, it's actually a nice thing. The reality is, I know what to expect. More accurate expectations when I do stuff. I generally know what it's going to be like and how I'm going to feel. So there's no surprises, or they're very little. And this is nice because it reduces a lot of anxiety and disappointment. And I know what things I will reject because I know I'm not going to like them, and I know things that I'm actually going to enjoy. So if somebody came to me and said, hey, you want to go play a board game? No, get away. Or they say, want to go karting? Okay, but will there be other things to do besides karting? Because that would be much better. I'll still participate, but I know what my expectations are, so I don't go there and I'm disappointed. Being wrong. Now, the older I get, the more I realize that I'm comfortable admitting when I'm wrong, and that ego doesn't come into play. Yes, I said that I make fewer mistakes, but when I make them, it's not that big of a deal anymore. Who cares? I've been wrong so many times in the past that it's fine now, and you get comfortable with that. Life goes on, as they say. Unless I was wrong about whether a car was coming when I crossed the street, then it's a different story. I think most fights that I've gotten into, especially online, are trying to let others know that they get it wrong. I still do this, but not nearly as much as I did before. And I do care far less about it because I realize how futile our little arguments are in the grand scheme of things. And fighting rarely changes minds. And the reality is that as much as you want somebody to agree with your opinion, how many times have you heard somebody say, that's actually a good point? And after trying to fight so many battles online for political reasons or health reasons, I've probably stopped myself thousands of times doing that, even if I know that that person in the comments has really gotten it wrong. In my opinion, this leads to fewer arguments and more plentiful happiness and more open to self-improvement. Because with age, I know myself better. I'm aware of where I need to improve, how wrong I can be, and how often others can actually be right. I'm more willing to give their ideas a try as I get older. In my old age, I realized thinking in terms of a type of person is actually really silly. It's just important to care about your health, and that's where it stops. And doing that means that you're going to have more energy and hopefully live longer. Back in the day, and this is a phrase that I'm sure a lot of people have heard, and as you get older, you get to say it, and you get to say this a lot, because it makes me feel like a wise old man. Not sure if I appear that way, maybe without the glasses, or the glasses put on my nose. Another one that I really like is that your beard starts to get gray hairs. That doesn't apply to everybody, but for me it does, and I like it. Why? I don't know. Probably the wise old thing that we talked about just a second ago. Again, pretty much all the things on the list lead to me being calm. I'm usually content, even with the simplest of things in life. I don't get too anxious or angry, but my kids will probably disagree with that one. And I don't really have regrets or deeply unfulfilled desires or jealousy of other walks of life. I do put out a lot of videos, but I don't feel like I have to constantly grind as hard as I used to. I get it that not everything is perfect, but as I get older, I'm getting confident in who I am and what I do. And yeah, I will always love what I do, and I enjoy it because I'm content with it. Point is, for me, getting older is kind of awesome, and I'm good with that. So that is my opinion about getting older. I'm sure everybody has their own experiences with that, and I'm talking about the positives. If you're not old yet, then that's what you have to look forward to. So, as always, if you found this useful or entertaining in any way, then subscribe to the channel or send it to somebody that might enjoy this. And when I say subscribe to my channel, I say that because it does make me happy when people do subscribe, so you will make my day if you do. Until next week, my friends, stay active and enjoy life. So YouTube seems to think that you would like this video right here, and it does look very interesting. So go ahead and press on it and enjoy.